Good morning, my friends. I say sadhana to you because it's important that I start my conversations out with a sentiment and an intention of truth so that I remember to carry that truth in my words. Truth is very important to me. It's more than a belief. It's a feeling. It's a vibration. And I think that in my experience, we feel truth. And it's something that resonates with us when we feel it. And so when someone is not telling you the truth, boy, that can stir up a lot of stuff. Let's take a moment. Think about a time, maybe when you heard something that wasn't truthful, and your reaction in that moment. Because what we can control is our reactions. And I know that for myself, I would love to have a really loving reaction, even if someone's not telling me the truth. And truth is important in these times. I can remember a year ago now, and the whole COVID thing was starting, at least here in America, and a lot of fear came up for me. Fear of change, fear of unknown, fear of sickness, fear of death. Fear came up. And so in that fear, my reaction was one of positivity, because that's an easy reaction for me to go to say, hey, don't worry, everything's going to be okay. Which is true. Everything's always going to be okay. But, that's perspective too. And I feel it's important to honor the emotions we're feeling. So if as a society we're feeling fear, I feel we can stop and take a look at that and say, okay, hey, we're all a little afraid right now. The world's feeling a little fear of uncertainty, which to me, if we look at different examples of this throughout our past histories, there's a lot of moments throughout human history where collectively there have been things to fear. Thich Nhat Hanh and other Buddhist philosophers theorize a lot about how our initial fear is our birth, and how just coming out of the womb in and of itself creates a sort of initial fear. In my experience, I think that fear can take place as soon as we enter into a human form. So as soon as our soul enters into that baby's body, we feel the vibrations around us. We instantly start feeling and conceptualizing what those feelings mean. So we feel a vibration and we create a reaction in our minds. And if you're a baby and don't know how to express that because you're a baby, then throughout our lives, when we have that same feeling or vibration hits us again, that reaction that's programmed kind of into us, which is no one's fault. Really huge point. Really, really, really huge point. is that when we feel that fear, whatever happens in our minds just is. It's neutral. It was designed to protect us, whatever that reaction was. This is the concept of psychology and the brain and how the brain works, which is very complicated. And I think that if anyone out there tries to say that they understand the brain completely, that would not be truth. I think we all feel that. At least I know I do. It's easy to sit in a psychology class in college, and I'm grateful to have gone to a very good, highly accredited college and took a lot of psychology classes, and had a lot of friends who majored in psychology. And I study now with a lot of people who are therapists and doctors and have studied this stuff for 40, 50, 60 plus years. And there's still a lot of things that we can find out about the brain. But what we do know is that we react to things. And today is Tuesday, so it's a good day to talk about anger in relation to these reactions as well. And important to be able to breathe in these times. So I was talking about before and a year ago, and when I had that fearful reaction, and my instinct was to be positive, I told a lot of people, oh, don't worry, it's just the flu, that kind of thing. But I really had no background to make that statement, so I'm sure that could bring up anger in other people, like, who's this person, who do they think they are to know what's best for me or what's happening, etc. And I don't think anyone really does. We're all trying to figure this out. So to me, patience and a lot of really deep breathing helps us to be present. And in that presence, we can experience our emotions. Be like, oh, I'm angry or I'm fearful, without attaching anything else to that. And so what I mean by that in relation to anger is, to me, there's a lot of things always that are out there that can trigger us, make us angry. And for me, now in those moments, I can stop and say, okay, I'm angry. I can recognize that. How do I want to express my anger? Is it something that I need to verbally let out? Or is it something that energetically I need to let out? Because there's a lot of ways to shift our anger. When I'm in an angry state, when I feel angry, I know that there are things that I can do to shift that anger, but also feel it and experience it for myself without projecting it on others. Because there's no real point in projecting it on anyone else. If someone does something that makes me angry, there are a myriad of ways that I can express this, Sometimes in coming back to our discussion on truth, I love helping people. I love to help people, and it's very easy for me to help people if they ask for that help, and I know that in our society sometimes it seems to me that we don't make it very easy to ask for help. So today I invite you to just take a deep breath in a moment when you might need help. And say, hey, I could really use some help here. This thing is confusing to me, and I need a little help. Or, gee, I'm really struggling to find the words to write this thing. Maybe if I reach out to someone, I can get help. And knowing, who to reach out to is important too, but also communicating from yourself. Who are you communicating to? Are you communicating for you? If you're asking for help, you're communicating with someone else. So there's two ways you can do that. You can manipulate someone, or you can ask them. In my experience, I unfortunately did way too much of the former, of manipulation, which I didn't realize was manipulation. It was just a learned behavior. It was like when I needed something done, I would say things or voice what I needed in such a way that hopefully someone else would hear and just do it for me. So I was doing a lot of things in that scenario, like projecting and assuming and not voicing my truth. My truth is that I need something. That's that moment where I feel like I need something. And if I can take that moment and express my need, something just as simple as, hey, I need help. And oftentimes, like when I was lost or when I lost something like my keys or my phone, those are the biggest times that I need to ask for help because I just feel very confused and lost. And those are not really feelings. They're more like things that are attached to beliefs and stories. Feeling lost or frustrated when I lose something makes me angry. And that's the feeling I'm feeling. Feeling anger. And when I get help or feel like there's help available, I feel a little less angry. And if I know I can help myself, that really takes the anger down. So the best thing I can do in like a moment when I've lost my phone is just sit down, stop looking, take a moment, stop being angry. If my phone is frustrating me, if technology is frustrating me, stop. Take a moment. Deep, deep, deep breathing. I'm angry, and that's okay. And I breathe calmly. And I experience this often in mornings when I teach yoga because it's super early. And it'll be like 5:30 and I'm going to, in our yoga practice in the morning, we shift from doing like a yoga workout to doing meditations. And in that moment, we have to shift from like holding space for the class and doing something really physical to being very still and playing music. And I usually have to do that on like my iPad or my phone or some sort of piece of technology. And so I've got this really high vibration after doing all this yoga, and I go to like touch my iPad. My iPad's like, whoa, you've got a lot of energy, dude. So I have to be like real patient, and touch it really gently to make sure that it, kind of does what I needed to do in that moment. If I start like swiping at it and like hitting it like mad, it's not going to do anything. It's not going to work how I need it to work. just doesn't make any sense. So cultivating patience in that moment is really important for me. Taking all that energy that I've cultivated from doing a yoga practice, and sometimes when I generate that much energy, it can be a little triggering for myself. So it's like, again, always taking those moments to come back to the breath. That's why the breath is here. And the breath is the only thing that I look at as God. That which gives orders and delivers us from life. It's the only thing that we do. Well, it's the very first thing that we do when we're born. It's the only thing that we really do consistently every day throughout our life, every moment of every day. And it's the very last thing we do before we die. And I'm very grateful for that. And so a lot of people talk about cultivating this attitude of gratitude. How do we do that? Our breath is easily the best way. By coming back to our breath, by being grateful for our breath. That's helping ourselves. It's help. Breath, energy, this is help. Wonderful, wonderful life-giving help. Whether you have a mask on or not, you can always breathe. I have asthma, and I walk around outside and take my walks every day, and I wear my little mask. And it's challenging to breathe sometimes, for sure. But I just remember to keep breathing deeply. That's it. And feel my truth in that moment. What do I need to feel? What am I feeling right now? Devoid of the story, devoid of the attachment, putting all that stuff aside. What am I feeling right now? And it's okay. Whatever you're feeling, completely okay. Any thoughts that you have, anything, completely okay. Once you choose to interact with that thought, or that attachment, or that story, then you enter into the place where you have to take responsibility for those things. Well, you don't have to. But certainly we see the truth of those who take responsibility for their words and their actions. Important. We notice these things every day. And with so much information around us, we notice them a lot. It's like very quick. So if you're scrolling through your phone or flipping around the TV, I know for myself, I could be triggered 100 times in this course of like a minute. It's a lot. And suddenly I'm not paying attention to my breath. Suddenly I'm breathing really shallowly. And I'm like, oh, holy crap. How did I get to this place? I'm angry. So, breathing deeply, recognizing the anger, putting down the phone, switching off the TV, saying I love you to whomever you are in a conversation with, and saying, hey, don't take this personally. You know, it's not about you. It's just me. What I'm feeling. And I'm not projecting that on you. I'm not asking you to feel anything for me or feel bad for me. Maybe just sit with me for a moment and say you're there. Because that sometimes means everything to someone. Just knowing they're there. I love you all very, 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 very much. And I think about all of you every day. I don't mean that to sound like weird, it's just how my brain works. And I'm very grateful for that. I'm very grateful for who I am, and I love myself very, very much. My name is Kurt the Frog. I pray for you every day that you find the peace and happiness that you seek inside yourselves. That you're able to put aside your fears and your anger and all those stories. Connect to your deeper emotions. And share with other people. Connect. And experience joy. Satnam. Many blessings to you this day. I love you. Bye-bye. Bye, everybody. Bye, everybody. Happy International Women's Week. Make sure to celebrate all the witches out there in the world doing amazing work and all the glorious things they do. Satnam. Have a blessed day.